right, so the question is, where do you go when you die? And this is the time traveler's version, or the professional reincarnator's version. Okay, so what happens is that, so the knowledge that you'll find here on the earth is based on, a lot of times two different systems. So I have to give you the explanation of both systems. So the first is that obviously when you die, I would say we should change that question to what happens when you leave Earth. And what happens when you leave Earth, meaning you come out of this body, is the governors, which are on the body, which are symbolic to the pentagram, or also known as the spell, that is the illusion, which has people seeing you in a way that you're not really, and has you also acting in a way that you're really not. And so when all that comes off, you're now in the field, which they would call the unified field. So what happens at this point is all of what you've been doing your entire segment of this life before your last memory wipe will all be visible to you as a sound, a vibration, and a geometric structure. So it's like a panoramic view of all of what occurred. But most importantly, what sticks out, though, is the spikes. And the spikes are things that have happened to you in life that you can even recall now and you seem to not remember. Even sometimes awkward or almost meaningless moments when somebody may have said something or did something. There's a way that it impacted you that allows you to keep that memory, and that memory or energetic signature is stronger than the others. So it doesn't fade out like some of the other lesser memories. So then what occurs is as you're viewing this, because it belongs to you, it's your timeline, it's your loop, if you may, you can then decide to go into places where you feel like you should have made a change, or you should have made a different decision. And how this works out on this realm, because this is a slower realm, is that all of a sudden you become more aware or more present, at least for that moment, and then you have this experience that you think is like a deja vu. And what this is the signification of the remembrance that, hey, I was here before. There's something about this decision or something that I'm about to do that's very significant. So I need to, pay careful attention. Of course, a lot of people don't know what deja vu actually means and what it's about. So they don't even know what to go into next when that occurs. But what you should do is you should just, also with ringing in the ear, you should just listen and tune into the frequency and really see if you can get what's happening, but not use English in a tense, like try to read it from your intuition. And so what happens also is because what was figured out a while ago is that there are several frequencies above this one, and there are other intelligent life forms that are living on those frequencies. In fact, vast intelligences, and there's no actual physicality in those frequencies. So what happens is that we are encouraged to go through this process in the university, or called the universe, and continuously growing and becoming more intelligent and being more filled with energy and experience and memory. So what happens is with the vast intelligences, that's when you move from this level into the next level. And what you're actually doing is you're kind of merging, because there ends up becoming more like a all-pervading consciousness in those fields. So what happens is that Earth, because of all the knowledge that's been released on Earth, and some people using that knowledge for their agenda, has been turned into a place that actually has so many different things occur to you while you're living this life. It's almost automatic that you end up reincarnating or going back through that same process of viewing your previous life and then seeing where you could have changed things, because each life is basically the same. Like, it may be in a different setting at a different time, but every single thing can be matched up across a timeline or across the unified field. Is, maybe it's your daughter. This time you have a certain feeling for her, and then next life maybe it's your sister, and you have that same feeling for her. But the roles have changed, but the frequencies are still the same. So going on with this, so what occurs is that if a person has this binding, then that's like they've kind of wrapped themselves with frequency around these memories, then they have a hard time when leaving the body, just going into the next stage of their intelligence so they can begin to expand their senses. What they generally do is they come back into the car which is the flesh, the world of flesh. And it's also a vehicle or a vessel or a receptacle. And they come back there and they attempt to live that life over again. And so, of course, all the things that happen, from maybe some abuse or, maybe someone you hurt, and all these different pitfalls that are here on earth are really also designed in many cases to keep you just in this system of not letting go. So there was an older system, which is the second system, that taught actually a process of basically coming to Earth, enjoying Earth's experience, but not getting attached to anything, because the only thing that was guaranteed was change. And that you would go through these experiences and you would basically learn to love, live, and let be. And you also wouldn't really accumulate too many things, because that would also be still here when you left. So you couldn't take it with you, is what I'm saying. So there was really no need to engage in that kind of thing. So it was just traveling very light. There was instructors already that were teaching people this, and a lot of it kind of turned into how to get into the higher frequencies and how to live in the state of happiness, etc. Obviously, that became corrupted, that system in itself, and it became like a version of where you were supposed to not do anything or be in a cave and basically suffer your whole life, so that way you wouldn't want to come back here. But I think what that caused for many people, or many of those monks that actually did that, was them to actually incarnate into the Western world, because there was still such a desire once they left out of the body and they seen what it really was about and how Earth was really about experience and memories and growth, that they realized they needed to come back in and have those experiences, have those memories, and have those growth. And have that growth. And now we're at a point where, this knowledge is leaking in and we're realizing all this. So what it really puts us into the point of is actually being able to now live life, have our experiences, have the things that we have, our house, our children, and those things, but also begin to adapt the mode of realizing how when we smeagol that, like the ring is mine, or that child is mine, or they're going to do what I tell them to do. This begins to rapidly turn into a very displeasing experience on the planet, meaning the person starts to have these issues and have these problems because all these elements and all these frequencies are not exactly obeying what they're talking about. So that's, of course, a big part of it, because when you start getting into that, then you get into arguments, and then maybe something happens, maybe somebody gets their feelings hurt, and then it starts this string of things that you need to come back and change. So if people want to know what happens when you die, it can happen even now. It can happen while you're asleep. Death is just a transition into the next phase. And you can actually cause that transition into the next phase. But a big part of it is really about letting go and realizing in different parts and aspects in your life to where you've driven a nail in. Maybe it's somebody that you don't like, or maybe it's something that you want to accomplish so bad you feel like you're not complete until you are able to do that. But still, that keeps you from blasting off in the dream. That keeps you from thinking of the greatest and highest ideals. So you need to also be aware of that grounded thinking and, I'll use a different term. Distortion in thinking about the grounded planes can equal one remaining in those grounded planes. So I want to say wholeness and balanced vibrations to everyone. And keep it moving. There's a lot of knowledge. Just a little bit more on that topic in specific. You all the time when you die, this is whether you're going to sleep or leaving the body, you do enter the field that your frequency corresponds to. And what happens is all the particles that are in your body, which are made out of different things you've eaten, it all disperses and harmonizes with that. Actually, it's already there now. It's just you can't feel it. So a big part of this is about us getting into a state of consciousness to where we can be fully alive and aware in this reality that we're living in. So talk to you soon.